Hello and welcome in video lecture series Demystifying Blockchain. In today's video, we will discuss about Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin, how transactions are recorded in Bitcoin block, and we will look at Bitcoin monetary system. In particular, we will see how we say that there are only 21 million Bitcoins in total. So let's get started. So what is Bitcoin? If we look at Bitcoin is basically a brilliant invention with a mix of technological advances, right? It's not something that is new, but these are like mix of technologies that are combined, that are put together in a unique way, which were not done done earlier, right? So if we look at the base of Bitcoin, we see Bitcoin is built on top of blockchain. So the technology behind Bitcoin is blockchain. So if we look at decentralized consensus, we have seen cryptography, game theory, peer-to-peer network, and if we mix it up with some kind of incentive mechanism and economic theory, then it gives rise to a protocol that's called as a Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, we say in as we trust. If we talk about same thing in centralized system, we say we trust the centralized system, but in Bitcoin, we trust everyone in aggregate, that is distributed trust, right? So moving forward, so there are multiple names for Bitcoins. Someone say it's a cryptocurrency, some says it's a digital asset, some say it's a commodity, security, property, right? And in particular, it's a famous and successful application of blockchain. It's a protocol, it's a network. All in all, there are multiple names you will find in internet about Bitcoin. But in particular, we will focus on Bitcoin as a protocol, because what protocol is actually, it's set of rules that govern the communication. That's it. Bitcoin is all about that. Bitcoin sets some rules, right, that governs that communication, and in particular, it sets the rules how transactions are validated, how they will be recorded in a block, and how blocks are connected together to form a chain that's called as a blockchain. All right, okay. Some of the steps that are helpful for us to understand how transactions are recorded on a Bitcoin block, right? So here I'm not explaining about anything about Bitcoin transaction in detail, neither about Bitcoin block. We will see them in deep detail in coming lectures, but here the focus is to have a overall perspective how transactions will be done and how they will be recorded and how they will be put in a block and how block will be connected with other blocks, and we will have a overall picture of how things are being done in Bitcoin, right? So the first step is new transactions are broadcasted to all nodes, right? When anyone has transactions, right? If let us suppose I have a transaction, right? I will broadcast it, okay? So I have T1. Same goes with other participants in the network, right? They have transactions and they will broadcast it, okay? What happens? There is a mechanism. I already told you about that. There is peer-to-peer network, right? If some node here receives those, right? If this is a node, this receives these transactions, he will selectively broadcast to it to other nodes. If they have already received this transaction, right, he has received T1 and T2 or Tn, he will broadcast it to other nodes, right? Just like suppose we have 4 nodes here, but if he has received those directly, right, he will forward it to this, and he will also try to forward to this, but he has already received, so he will discard them because he has received them. In the same way, if we have n number of nodes in a network, just like multiple thousand nodes, they will all come to know about those transactions, right? All in all, I want to say here that whenever there are new transactions, they are broadcasted to all the nodes, right? Second step is when nodes receive those transactions, right? When node receive those transactions, just suppose we have a full node here. This is also called as a miner. For the simplicity, you see miner is having great computational power, right? It's having huge computational power, so that he is able to solve that consensus mechanisms, right? He is able to solve that difficult proof of work. So for this video, you just imagine miner has high computational power. So what they will do, they will receive those transactions, new transactions that were broadcasted, right? They have a special memory where they put those transactions. This is called as a mempool. Okay, so they receive those and they collect those transactions and try to form a block. All right, once what happens, they have to just determine about the validity, syntax, whether the transaction is according to the protocol, and everything they will see here, right? And they will put it into the block. What they will do after that, they have to take part in consensus mechanism. That is, they will try to find that difficult proof of work where their aim is to find the hash of a block that is less than the target block that we have seen in the previous video. But we will have another video that will cover everything about proof of work, right? So their aim is to come up with a hash of a block that is less than the target. So they will put all those transactions in the block, try to find difficult proof of work, right? When nodes finds a proof of work, they broadcast the block to all other nodes, right? So when particular node finds the proof of work, that is what happens actually. He is able to find a hash that is less than the target. So once he finds that, he will broadcast it to other nodes in the network. Once they will see this, if this block has already seen by them, then they will discard. Otherwise, they will receive this block. What they will do, they have all those full nodes have other blocks, right? That is the copy of the blockchain. They will put this block on top of their chain. So since this block has the previous hash to this, right? This has the previous hash to this. So there is a chain basically, right, going on like this. Once nodes have received the recently mined block, what they will do, let's have a look. They show their acceptance, right? That is, they accept the block only if all the transactions inside that block are valid and there is no double spending. That is, no transaction has already been spent. So every transaction is like a fresh transaction. Okay, so what nodes they show their acceptance of a block by trying to take participation of proof of work for the next block. So what does this mean? If you look, if this is a recent block that was recently mined, right? Okay, so I am considering this as a recent block. What nodes do to show that they have accepted this block? They will try to participate in proof of work mechanism, right, consensus, by referring this block as a previous block. When some node is able to successfully mine the block, so this is the fresh block. Now it is referring the previously mined block. So this is called as a acceptance, right? Because the nodes have accepted this block. Now they are trying to refer it as a previous block in order to mine the next block. So this is how when transactions are being done, they are recorded by the nodes because they are broadcasted. When the full nodes prepare a block, they try to participate in, like, it's a competition, right? Every full node tries to win the next block by successfully mining the block and try to get the mining reward. Now once node is able to successfully mine the block, the node will broadcast that block to every other node. Those nodes will check if the transactions are okay, they are not being double spent, they are fresh transactions. They show their acceptance by accepting it and trying to take participation for consensus for producing the next block, right? This is like a overall scenario what happens, and it is better if we have a look at diagrammatical execution of all those steps, right? If we go to next slide, right? So this is how the scenario goes. If you look at here, So if there are two persons and is trying to send a transaction from his wallet to his address, right? So this is the transaction. Same goes with others. So it could be person A trying to send to B, it could be person B trying to send to D. Like, everything can happen, right? Because Bitcoin is public, so everyone is free to do transactions, unless they don't have the balance, they won't be able to do that. But once they have the balance in the wallet, they can send transaction to other participants in the network. So we have 5 transactions here. So this is a node, right? And this is full node, because full nodes or mining nodes, these are called miners also, they are only able to take participation in the proof of work just because they have the full copy of the blockchain. Okay, so what they will do, they will try to place them in a block and try to take participation in the consensus mechanism. So this is miner, right? So they verify these transactions are okay, try to set all those transactions in a block, solve the puzzle of proof of work. We are going to go into this proof of work later in this video lecture series. And they try to add this block to the blockchain. Finally they broadcast this, right? Once they broadcast this block, right, so that's like here, this is the fresh block that goes to here, and this block has been mined. Other nodes will show their acceptance because they also try to participate for the next block, to try to mine the next block, and this next block will refer to this block. Once this block refers to this, we see that we can say, okay, the nodes have shown their acceptance about that block, right? So in next video we will see how we say there are only 21 million bitcoins in total. So that is, we will look at Bitcoin monetary system. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you.